Welcome to the Connection Hub. My name is Vanessa, and I am here to connect you with your highest good, your highest self, and your highest source. I'm going to talk about discernment, what it is, why you should always be armored with it, and what might happen if you're not. I will discuss the importance of having a point of focus and how our point of focus propels us into specific directions. And I will lay out several different ways I've predominantly noticed spiritual growth unfolding for me in my life. Discernment. Discernment is our ability to make superb judgment calls. It's tuning into our inner guidance and our inner support and really being able to divide the difference of what feels accurate and true to us and what doesn't. Discernment is a tool that we can use to really align us with the path we're supposed to be walking on. This doesn't mean that the opinions of others are wrong, incorrect, or bad. It just might mean that the opinions of others or what other people have to share isn't necessarily for us and for our journey. Everyone is going to have a unique approach to how they deal with things or how they see reality for what it is. The reason it's so important to be armored with discernment is because it really does make a difference to how we experience our own daily life and our own daily routines. Discernment can also be very closely linked to and connected with our intuition. When something doesn't feel right, this is our inner wisdom, our inner guidance, our inner knowing, trying to veer us in a different direction. There have been times where I've been sitting and digesting online material, and I'll hear something or I'll come across something and my insides kind of contract and I'm like, wait, something's not right with that. And the moment I start to question it is the moment I'm opening myself up to my own discernment, using my own inner compass. Sometimes I'll even hear my intuition speaking to me saying, no, Vanessa. And when I hear that, no, Vanessa, I understand that as a cue for me to take a step back and not digest whatever it is I'm listening to. It doesn't mean that that opinion or that point of view isn't correct. It just might not be for me. And at the same time, it might not align with where I am in my journey. The point of focus. Spiritual growth is something that we are constantly doing from the moment we are born to the moment we die. But when spiritual growth becomes a topic of interest, this is when it becomes a point of focus. A point of focus is exactly what we need to narrow our vision in on a particular desire or dream. For example, an athlete's point of focus is going to be whatever sport they're in or whatever their routine is, making sure their body is rested, can keep up, making sure their nutrition is appropriate for whatever they're athleticizing in. A student, their point of focus is to learn and uncover everything underneath this umbrella topic that they're studying. When it comes to spiritual growth and when it comes to removing or seeing through the physical world veil into the energetic matter around us, this then becomes a point of focus. The concept of a point of focus is to help us determine where we're anchoring our attention on a particular path. How spiritual growth unfolded for me. Setting an intention. Everything we are and everything that comes into physical form is because we have set the intention to receive that thing or to experience that situation. When it comes to spiritual growth, looking back, I noticed that when I was setting intentions, my intentions were coming from a very egoic place. They were coming from a place where I was uncomfortable or unknowing in the power of just allowing for source and allowing for God to take care of the details. And what I would end up doing is disappointing myself because I would have such high expectations but very little patience. And my egoic timeline was a whole lot shorter than where reality was truly sitting for me. So setting an intention has become so much more less contrived and much more broad as I have grown older and wiser. And this is because I understand that if I have the sense and if I have the ability to put so much more into the hands of God and into the hands of the universe, then I understand that exactly what unfolds for me is supposed to happen. There have been moments where I have set intentions, and those intentions and those wishes, I suppose, have been met and met very quickly. I remember I was reading oracle cards for a client once, and my third eye was very open. I was receiving most of my information clairvoyantly. Here's the thing, clairvoyance is such a fantastic tool, but it's like a game of charades. So I was seeing these clairvoyant images and not really picking up on how to describe the message to my client clearly enough. And so I remember at the end of that reading, I said, God, I am setting the intention right now to open up my clairaudience. I would really, really like to hear messages clairaudiently and be in direct verbal communication with you at all times. And here's what happened next. My third eye closed down, shut off, and it was like the noises and the sounds around me were extremely amplified. And at first I was a little bit shocked because I had gotten into the habit of depending on my inner vision to navigate not only through readings, but through life. And I was no longer seeing things. So it's true in one sense, an intention can be set and it can be set very specifically. However, if I go and I set an intention to receive something and it's coming more from an egoic place and not really anchored in that I've done the work, I'm fully prepared, I know what's coming my way, it might take a little bit longer for that intention to materialize. And when we do set those intentions, it's really great to set them from a place of understanding and knowing and curiosity and a willingness to allow those intentions to unfold in perfect divine time. This is what I've learned. Healing. Healing has been the medicine for my soul, and not only my soul, but for my body and my mind and my heart. Healing became a major point of focus for me in my life. It started with Reiki, and this was when my mom was studying to be a Reiki master. And she approached me one evening and she said, Vanessa, would you like a Reiki session? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I had no idea what she was talking about. The session I had with my mom opened up so many doors for me and opportunities, and it escalated the healing journey. Over the next couple of months, I noticed that my anxiety and my depression lessened. My physical form started to change and become more youthful. I had more energy. From there, it really allowed me to see past the physical world, past everything that I thought I was and what I believed reality to be. And this was when the energetic world and the spiritual path started to reveal itself to me. The pain of purging. Healing over the years, it hasn't looked cute. The pain of purging through old beliefs, old thought patterns, hasn't felt the best. This is actually the third time I'm sitting down to record this video. The first time I attempted this, I was really tired. Backtrack to my how to recover from burnout video. The second time I sat down to record this, I lost space on my cell phone and nothing saved. So now this is the third time I'm sitting down and attempting to articulate the pain of purging on the path of spiritual growth. And this is the best thing that I can come up with. For years and years and years, I was digesting all these beliefs about who I am or who I'm meant to be that were incorrect. I wasn't using my discernment. And through all of those moments that I was digesting other people's opinions about me or incorrect views of the world, I had a spoon and I was just eating it up. And so the pain of purging and how I've experienced it is this energetic force of just stuff that I have digested and redigested for years, if not decades, bubbling up and coming up to the surface to move move its way out. And this is why it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable on every level, on a mental, physical, emotional, and soul level, because the purging is bringing us into great transformation, into great shifts. And if you can think back to comic book characters or maybe Marvel characters, I don't even know the character, but I'm seeing the Incredible Hulk. And I'm sure at one point he's completely normal and then he transforms. And this is what is happening through the process of healing and through the process of purging out the old to then anchor ourselves and solidify ourselves again into a newer version of us. I feel that it's this moment in time where the body, mind, and spirit are recognizing that skin is being shed and it's uncomfortable and it's raw and it's open, like an open wound. And these feelings of stress or depression, just being completely beside myself, is because it's uncomfortable. It's okay when this transformation and when change is uncomfortable, so long as there is this knowing and this understanding that on the other side of it, the sun is going to shine brighter, the water is going to taste more clear and refreshing, and it's worth it. I thought to myself, does it really need to feel that dreadful? I sat in a meditation and I went into my Akashic records and I said, could you please show me the story? Show me the life event where this seed was planted, where this pain in the healing process was made very clear to me. And I went back to a scene, and it was a scene way, way, way back in my timeline. And I thought to myself, okay, I understand. Tell them. Tell them the scene. So the scene was me inside of this sanctuary, and there was this older man, like a priest or someone in charge, and he was like anointing the group of us with this water. That healing and transformation was painful. And in that pain, there will be gain, like that saying, no pain, no gain. And this is a belief that I have carried on with me lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to destroy this belief, this contract. And I went in and I tied it up, rewrote the new story. I envisioned a different scene happening. I could feel that different scene. And then I left the Akashic records and I knew that I had rewritten the story, a story that was with me and attached to me on a deep soul level. And I would just encourage anyone who experiences this and is ready to allow for healing to feel energizing and uplifting and amazing instead, to just sit in meditation or write and say, I'm ready. I'm ready for the healing process to look different, to feel different, and see how that goes for you. Everything I have once seen as being dreadful or painful or annoying, over the years, I have really focused on seeing situations from a different point of view, from a point of view where I can understand that someone else's words or actions have nothing to do with me. And it's been a really great space to live in. Time, patience, and integration. There have been a couple of times where I have set the intention of wanting to accomplish something or be in a certain point of my journey, having really no idea and no clue how much longer it was going to take for me to get from point A to point B. And this has a number of different reasons involved, I'm sure. For example, my own willingness to do the work, other people in my life and where they are, and the part of the puzzle that I play when it comes to their story. There are so many factors that have really taught me the virtue of patience. Oh, yes. It takes time for learnings and teachings and understandings to integrate into our system. If that's on a physical level, emotional level, mental level, we need those life experiences and we need other players in our story to come together with us and add to the experience. Our story is more focused on the journey than the destination. And so many times I thought the complete opposite. This has been a massive piece to my spiritual growth. Intuitive awareness. I had no idea what my intuition was. I thought that my intuition were just those gut feelings to keep me safe. This is what I thought the extent of my intuition was. I never considered myself intuitive. And as soon as I started the path of spiritual growth, my intuition skyrocketed. And I know that this is because I started to slow down, started to see past the physical world, and started to just gain interest in connecting to the higher force in charge of all of this. My intuitive awareness has allowed me to sit with people, with friends, with family, with clients, and read cards for them to help them on their path, but also to help me. It's allowed me to navigate my life in really unique ways. And I think that that's been a really magical piece of all of this, is the unfolding of my intuition and really understanding intuition for what it is, the connection that I am creating with Source, with God, with the universe, and doing everything I can on my end and in my power to stay connected. Devotional practice. My devotional practice has not only allowed me to understand who I am, but it has also allowed me to see life in a lighter way and with a kinder heart and with less judgment, which I think has been one of the greatest blessings. The reason why a devotional practice has been so essential for me is because it's allowed me to understand that I am not alone. And that's been a huge piece of the puzzle for me. Back when this path started to get paved out and I began to walk it, if I wasn't careful, I would have felt so much more alone than I actually did. A practice of prayer and a practice of meditation, even a practice of journaling and writing, has really helped me understand that I'm not alone. No one is alone. And there is always support. It's been kind of fun having less distractions too. With having less physical distraction around me, it's really allowed me to connect more with God and with Jesus, with family members that have passed away. If that's in meditation or just opening up my third eye through a devotional practice, I have been able to love myself so much more. Final thoughts. Spiritual growth really will unfold for us in many ways. I think it is wonderful to even just have an interest in spiritual growth and the spiritual path. Naturally, the way we grow spiritually will change over time. And we need to understand that spiritual growth is going to look so different for so many of us. Some steps might feel a little bit bigger than others, and on some days we might feel no more ahead than where we were months ago. However, spiritual growth unfolds for you is divine. All of it is perfect. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Until next time, get lost in joy and remember, you are always connected.